GL Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's June 16, 2021 revised order extending remote participation by all members in any meeting of a public body. This meeting of the Great Barrington Select Board will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and our parties with a right or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. Pursuant to Mass General Law 7C 30A, Section 20F, after notifying the chair of a public body, any person may make a video or audio recording of an open session of a meeting of a public body or may transmit the meeting through any medium. At the beginning of the meeting, the chair shall inform other attendees of any such recordings. So this meeting is being recorded by the Town of Great Barrington, by CTSB, by Berkshire Edge, and other members of the public. Any member of the public wishing to speak at the meeting must receive permission of the chair. The listings of agenda items are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Select Board's announcement and statements. Garfield. You're muted, Garfield.
I have nothing really other than I had a citizen come up to me today and was concerned about all the noise that was going on when we had the bus. I thought there were some young people still playing down at the gazebo after hours, and said she had gone down there a couple times to have them stop playing. So I just wanted to, I told her I would mention it, that she had some concern about the noise. So I am mentioning it and letting you be, making you aware of that. Obviously, the bus is over, but just as she's concerned.
Thank you, Garfield.
Well,
Eric. Thank you. Ed?
okay.
Lee?
Nothing.
And I have nothing. Town Manager's report.
Thanks, Steve. I have just a few updates this evening. First one is Houstonic Waterworks. I don't have much to report since our last meeting on the 27th, but I just wanted to remind folks that, or village residents specifically, that we'll be hosting a standalone meeting next Tuesday, October 12th at 6 p.m. virtually, and that agenda is already posted. So we'll also issue a press release. A press release went out this morning, and we'll issue a code red call as we get a little bit closer. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind people that we'll be providing some updates and listening to feedback that evening. Next on my list is the Trust Policy Committee. And the last time we talked about this particular topic was on July 26th. And at that time, I was asked to circle back to the board at a later date so that we could discuss this again. Since that time, we've re-advertised the committee openings. We've continued to list this on our website during that time. And I've noted it every time we met to provide updates for board and committee vacancies. So I think at this time, I would suggest, since we've had little to no interest in, no interest from Great Barrington residents and little interest from other neighboring communities. We've had one applicant from the town of Alford, one from Stockbridge. So I think at this time, I'd like to suggest that we put this committee on hold for about 6 months and start again at that time.
Sounds good.
I have one last add-on, if you don't mind. I just wanted to mention to folks who come to town hall, the after-hours drop boxes for the treasurer collector's office and the town clerk's office that were at the bottom of the front stairs, you'll notice have been moved to the side entrance near the handicap entrance elevator, so that during construction you can still access those. And then once construction's complete around Thanksgiving, we'll move those back, but they are accessible now. It's just a temporary move, but if you're wondering where they are available and outside the fence now. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Licenses, permits, and permissions. Mark DeSelf, the Rotary Club of Great Barrington for a temporary one-day Sunday entertainment license for Truck Day at 380 State Road on Sunday, October 17th, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I'm going to recuse myself from this one because I'm a member of Rotary, and out of abundance of caution, and I'll let Lee go on. I will give Mark DeSalle, I will allow him to talk. So if anyone has any questions, Lee, go right ahead.
Sure. Do we have I'll make a motion.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve the license by Mark DeSalle for the Rotary Club of Great Barrington for a temporary one-day Sunday entertainment license for Truck Day at 380 State Road on Sunday, October 17th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Mark, would you like to say something?
It's basically our first and only fundraiser that we've had for the last year and a half. So it's usually a very well-attended event, and it's great, especially for the younger families. It's a lot of fun for everybody who participates, and we appreciate your support.
Great, so we'll take a roll call. Eric.
Aye.
Garfield.
Aye.
Ed.
Aye.
And I for me. So that's unanimous. Thank you very much, Mark, and to the Rotary Club.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Next is Steve Hayward for National Grid pole petition for South Main Street to install one pole beginning at a point approximately 215 feet south of the center line of the intersection of Brookside Road and Route 7 within a public right-of-way in order to provide electric service. So let me get Steve up.
Steve,
Yeah.
I'm gonna recuse myself for these next two items.
Okay.
Thank you.
Steve, do you have anything you want to explain on this or add?
We're looking to add a pole across the street from where all the existing poles are along Route 7 to provide service for a low-income housing property that's being developed there. Or that hopefully will be developed there.
Yes.
I'm not sure if anybody has questions about this or any abutters have questions or anything like that.
If anyone has any questions, either board members or abutters, board members, I'll recognize you. Abutters, just raise your hand and I will recognize you. Lee, go ahead with a motion.
I make a motion to approve the petition by Stephen Hayward for National Grid pole petition for South Main Street to install one pole beginning at a point approximately 215 south of the center line of the intersection of Brookside Road and Route 7 within public right-of-way in order to provide electric service.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, it's a roll call vote. Eric?
Eric's recused.
Eric recused, I'm sorry, that's correct. Garfield?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
It's unanimous 4-0. Next is Steve Hayward for National Grid pole petition for South Main Street to install one pole on South Main Street at approximately 95 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Brookside Road and Route 7 within the public right-of-way in order to provide electric service. Steve, you want to just give a brief explanation on this one also?
Yeah, essentially the same thing. The property is just so large that this development requires multiple poles.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the pole petition for Stephen Hayward for National Grid to install one pole on South Main Street at a point approximately 90 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Brookside Road and Route 7 within the public right-of-way in order to provide electric service.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Anyone in the audience can raise their hand also if you're an abutter, or even if you're not, you have a question. Any of the board members?
What's your cat's name, Lee?
Riley, I had no idea he was behind me.
Roll call vote. Garfield?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And aye, it's unanimous 4-0. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Have a nice night.
You too.
Thank you.
Public hearings. David Bruno of Depart Wine, 28 Railroad Street, for a change of manager to their wine and malt retail package store license from Ariel Spugen Bildner to David Bruno. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
It's a roll call vote. So Eric, you're back.
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. And I assume there is someone here to answer any questions.
I do not see David in the list of attendees. Unless there's somebody here to represent.
If there's anybody here to represent, Depart Wine at 20 Railroad, please raise your hand. It's the board's choice how they want to move on this. We typically have we're getting a lot of feedback. Hold on. We typically have required someone to be here, and we have usually tabled it to the next meeting.
You know, the last time we did this, we tabled it twice and nobody had any questions. I don't have a problem voting if nobody has any questions for him.
I'm not seeing any questions or anyone in the audience asking questions. So Lee, do you want to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion to approve the application by David Bruno of Depart Wine of 28 Railroad Street for a change of manager to their wine and malt retail package store license from Ariel Spugen Builder to David Bruno.
Second.
Roll call vote. Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Ed, you're looking perplexed.
Yeah, did we do that backwards? Not that it matters. Don't we usually close the public hearing and then vote?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Sorry, that's why I was perplexed.
But it wasn't explicit on the agenda, so I messed up, but you didn't have to point it out so explicitly.
Sorry.
It's a roll call vote. Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Next is motion to open the public hearing for Jeffrey Murdoch of IE Inc., Butternut, 380 State Road, for a change of manager to their all alcoholic restaurant license from Jeffrey Murdoch to Ronald Crozier.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote. Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. And there is someone here.
Yes, Ron Crozier from Ski Butternut. I'm the general manager, and I'm also here with Jesse Cook-Dubin, who is our attorney of record.
Okay, with a brief explanation would be fine from either of you.
Yes, what we're looking to do is to just change the manager of record. I've been at Butternut for a number of years previously, and then came back a little over a year ago. Jeff Murdoch is not on property as often as I am. I've been in the hospitality and recreation industry for approximately 40 years, primarily as an operations manager or general manager. Butternut is the second stint for me as a general manager, and would also be the second time that I would be appointed as the manager of record. I'm a Massachusetts resident, a U.S. citizen, and I'm a resident of East Otis, and I'm confident of taking care of the responsibility of the manager of record.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience or board members? Questions or
Why are they
comments?
making the change?
I'm
Just because
sorry.
you're on deck more? Jeff, is that the reason, or Ron?
Yeah, I'm on property more often. I'm on property 6 to 7 days a week during operational periods. Typically, in the winter operation, 70 to 80 hours a week.
Any other questions? Seeing none from the audience or the board, a motion to close the public hearing?
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote, Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the application to Jeff Murdoch of Butternut at 380 State Road for a change of manager to their all alcohol restaurant license from Jeffrey Murdoch to Ronald Crozier.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Next is Ronald Crozier of IE Inc., Butternut, 380A State Road for a new all alcoholic restaurant license. Motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call vote, Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Do we have an explanation on this one, Mr. Crozier?
Yes, we're looking to put a new license in for what the area we call the Pit Stop, which is located in the base area. It's adjacent to the main office building. We operated this area last winter during the COVID situation, and it was fairly successful for us. So we'd like to continue with that operation. The area consists of a small building as well as outdoor seating with picnic tables. Occupancy of the building is strictly for food prep as well as sales, and is limited to food service personnel only. And the outside seating area is approximately 96 people for the capacity level. We do feel that by continuing to operate this area, that it will help us maintain social distancing, particularly with the COVID situation. Improve safety for our guests as well as our employees, and hopefully limit the number of guests in our lodges.
Do I have any questions from anyone in the audience or from board members? Seeing none, motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Eric, you're muted.
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the application by Ronald Crozier of Butternut, 380 State Road for a new all alcoholic restaurant license.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Thank you very much to both of you for coming tonight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Dan Bailey on the line. You can raise the hand. I don't see him though. Eric, not to put you on the spot, are you prepared to give any update or should we wait for Dan?
I could give a little bit of an update. I was thinking, I talked with Dan, he was gonna do it, but basically, we have a time frame for the charrette is gonna be on for October 30th. We're hoping to have, we want to check in with the powers that be to make sure, hoping to have internet there at the time to make things a little more possible. And that seems to be moving on, and we are on schedule to give you the recommendation for the October 25th meeting.
And you said the charrette was October 30th?
It's getting moved to October 30th. Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna have it on October 23rd. But the architects had a scheduling issue, so we're looking to do it on October 30th.
Great. Yeah, Lee, go ahead.
So, but you're giving us a recommendation before the charrette, is that correct? So you're,
Yeah, the idea is, and Dan can probably word this better, but the idea is, we're gonna meet your deadline for the, proposal, for a recommendation, and then the charrette's gonna quickly follow up with additional information for suggestions for the building.
okay.
What time is the charrette? Or don't you-
I will have to get you that information. I believe it's from 11 to 3, I believe, but I cannot. The final details were made this past week, and I actually was unable to attend that meeting.
Not to put you on the spot again, but for people that want to attend to watch this, is this a PowerPoint? Is it like is it a plan? I mean, can you give us an idea of what we'll be expecting to see? Because a lot of people don't know what a charrette is, so just to give us a sense.
Yeah, the charrette there's gonna be a few ways to do it. I believe they have lined up the TV that come and record it. We're hoping to have the Zoom in place with the 2 owls. And basically it's gonna be a handful of architects coming and discussing layouts and possibilities with the school. So it's gonna be in the Hoosie Dome, and we're gonna have tables set up and proper spacing and all that for everybody.
Okay,
Thanks, Eric.
thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone, any questions? New business. Halloween trick or treat date and time. Do I believe you have a motion? It's easier to work off of a motion.
I do have a motion. I make a motion to hold Halloween trick or treat on Sunday, October 31st from 5:30 to 7:30 PM with the following recommendations. Participants should limit their groups to households or pods and keep groups as small as possible. Participants should wear a mask or face covering when visiting indoors and/or outdoors when proper social distancing is not possible. Turn your porch light on if you wish to participate. For those planned gatherings this fall, please contact the GBH Health Department to assist you with COVID mitigation strategies to help keep attendees safe.
Do I have a second? So
Second.
second by Ed, just as a way of explanation. The board voted many years ago to set trick or treat date and time for October 31st and the time. But with the pandemic, the last 2 years, we've added some rules onto it, and we wanted to reinforce that everyone knew that we were having trick or treat. So that's why I'm before the board.
May I make a suggestion?
You may.
When I assume we're going to put out the recommendations, so people can see it, just that we specify mask, like COVID protection mask, given that it's Halloween and masks are on anyway.
Makes sense.
And then I assume we're going to publicize the recommendations.
Yeah, it'll be a press release.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I'm personally excited, so.
Is
So-
6 too late to start, may I ask?
I'm sorry?
6 PM.
What
It's-
time did you?
5:30 to 7:30, Garfield.
No, I understand, I heard that, I'm asking,
Oh.
6 o'clock.
No,
Okay.
we've always done it 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
Whatever, I mean, it's not cast in stone, I guess, but. So we have a motion and a second, roll call vote, Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Yes.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I, it's unanimous. Next is Great Barrington 2020 re-precincting, try to say that one. Jen, do you want to give an explanation or Mark?
I'm gonna let Jen take this one. I just promoted her, and in the meantime, I'm gonna share my screen so that we can show you some slides here. Just bear with me.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes,
Okay. So the executive summary is, pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just kind of go over a brief overview of it again. So basically, after every federal census, the towns that have more than a population of 6,200 residents have to look at all their precinct lines. And they have, what they're looking for is they want all the precincts to be within 5% of the population. And so they got the federal census number for Great Barrington, and it was 7,172 for total residents. And it, all ours did not equal out with the new numbers. It did not equal out to the 5%. It didn't meet it. So that means we have to re-precinct. The map that is provided, the proposed one, is what I worked out with Secretary Galvin's office. I did look at the option of going down to 3 precincts, but the map they provided me with would require a lot of the residents to go up to Housatonic to vote that live almost in downtown Great Barrington, which I didn't really think was a good option. So the current map that you're seeing on the screen, that's our current precinct map with the 4 precincts. And then Mark, if you want to go to the next slide. And then this one is the proposed one. I know it's kind of hard to really see the difference, but there are changes to, as you can see in the red area, there's 3 different changes. And the biggest one is the one that's circled in orange. And that affects the western part of Division Street, where it meets Alford Road, and then a portion of Alford Road from there down to the Madge Delaney Simon's Rock line. That would require all those people living in that area to vote in Precinct B. Unfortunately, we wish we didn't have to do that, but it's really hard to get the lines drawn. They want nice even lines. They try to follow roads when they can. They try to follow railroad tracks when they can. So it's quite the process. It's not as easy as we think it would be. But the 3 circled spots that you see on the screen on the proposed one, that's what it would be affecting. For those residents that live in those sections, that they would now have a new precinct. It's not as the other 2 areas, it's not as big of a deal because they would still be voting at the fire station on State Road. It's just the one portion that is circled in the orange. Those people would now have to go and vote in Housatonic.
Do I have questions? Not seeing any questions from the audience or from select board members. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the recommendation by the town clerk to re-precinct the town of Great Barrington.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing no discussion, roll.
Actually, I will have a little question.
Yeah.
Of course, we are a very small town, and I don't know if this has any changes, like you're seeing changes happen in big places where redistricts are voting for minorities and kind of puts them in an off space. This doesn't do anything like that in our town, does it?
No, so that's one of the things that you have to take into consideration is the demographics. And that's actually one of the documents that's in there is a report on all the different demographics and for all of the different precincts. And that's one of the things that the state requires every town to take into consideration, because you don't want to make, someone that it might be difficult for them to go to a different area. And so this meets all of that. And then once the board approves it tonight anyways, then it goes to the LEDRC. And they approve all of the different towns and cities across the Commonwealth. They'll approve it. So it's not only your approval, but their approval, and, to meet all the standards. So it's kind of like an approval twice. So you know that it's going to meet those standards.
Thank you.
Erica Milky?
Hi, yes, Erica Milky, 13 East Street. I just was curious, how do people affected by this, how will they find out about the new district or new precinct?
So once this is approved by the board, then it goes to the LEDRC. Once it's approved by them, it goes to the state elections division, and they make all the changes in our state computer. And then it's up to the town clerk to go ahead and then send out letters to all of those people that it's affected.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Steve, before you vote, just, I appreciate the brevity of the motion, but I think Jen needs the full motion as recommended in the executive summary.
I wondered about that. I was gonna ask that question.
Yes, it should be the actual, what it says in there, because you need to actually vote to accept the precinct map, the block data reports, and the legal boundary descriptions. It needs to be all three.
Okay. I have what we're signing.
So it's in the executive summary, right above the signatures where it says recommendation.
Oh, okay. Yep. Oh, yes. Oh, all that. Okay.
It's just the select board votes to the precinct map, that one.
Okay. So should I read the whole executive summary then?
No, just
No, just that
recommendation,
sentence.
right?
Oh, yes. Okay, I see. Excuse me, my fault. Okay, I withdraw the recommendation and I would like to make a new recommendation, please.
Yep.
I make a recommendation, the select board vote to accept the precinct map, block data reports, and legal boundary descriptions as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Eric?
Aye.
Garfield?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous. Thanks,
And
Jim.
not to do too much procedure, but in case it matters, I withdrew my second without objection
I heard you.
to the first motion.
Steve, and just before I go,
Yes.
I just want to thank Chris very much for helping me out with the legal boundary descriptions, because it was not much fun with him and I looking at a map trying to figure out what's what. So thank you very much to Chris.
Thanks, Jen. Next is a downtown Great Barrington Cultural District update, reauthorize select board participation on the steering committee.
You want me to do that? Okay, so the downtown Great Barrington Cultural District is, I believe, starting its third. I serve as the select board's representative on it and co-chair it. And every year we put out a new memorandum of understanding. So we're just asking the select board to endorse this. And I guess the part of that is naming me again as the representative.
Yeah, do I have a motion? You're muted, Lee.
I make a motion to endorse select board participation on the steering committee of the downtown Great Barrington Cultural District.
And to reappoint me.
And to reappoint select board member Ed Abrams.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, Eric?
Aye.
Garfield?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
And I, it's unanimous.
And can I give you like a 10-second update, which is
I'll give you 15 seconds. I'm in a good
Okay.
mood.
one of our projects was to put up banners about with pictures of the different cultural districts that were created by high school students and local artists. And those have started to be up. They will be up before next weekend. The rest of them, Larkin is in the middle of putting them up. So next time you're on Main Street, look up, look at the banners. They're beautiful.
Thank you, Ed. Susan M. Smith Esquire, on behalf of Majestic Oak Estates LLC, seeking select board approval to amend the declaration of covenants and restrictions for the common driveways south serving the lots of Majestic Oak Estates off of Van Duzenville Road. Either Chris or Susan, you want to give an explanation?
Good evening, I'm here. Can you all hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. So this is, I think you have in front of you, there's a map. It was filed in plat file Q33 for Majestic Oak Estates. It shows lots 1 through 5 on that map. The south driveway that's the subject of this document in front of you runs across lots 5, 4, and 3 at the bottom of the plan. My clients are actually purchasing lot 3. Bill Nolan still owns lots 4 and 5. He is Majestic Oaks. And the common driveway agreement that was signed and adopted in 2013 requires that if we're going to do any amendments, the Great Barrington Board of Selectmen needs to approve it. So we're looking to do what we perceive to be minor amendments. And I think you have the corrective document in front of you, and the proposals are on the one that's corrected. It kind of outlines where the changes are. It's under Article 1.2. We're removing the words the interior of, and just so that the driveway goes to the edge of lot 3. And then the other change is in 3.3. We are replacing that so that the cost of any road work on that driveway is shared equally amongst the 3 lots, rather than in the percentages that were outlined before. And then in Article 3.4, we're just adding a sentence that that driveway will not be paved at any time. And then there was one last amendment in 3.4, just adding a sentence that the unanimous consent of all 3 lot owners is necessary if any annual and special assessment exceeds $4,000 per lot per year. So they're kind of minor, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Anyone have any questions?
I just got a question, just out of curiosity. It's a common driveway that the town has no maintenance issues or anything with. So just curious why they need our approval. Is it just
There's a common driveway bylaw in town that has to get approval through the Board of Selectmen whenever you're creating a common driveway. And then at the time that this one was created in 2013, they had this requirement that the board review any type of amendments. And I think the intent behind all of it is that one, they don't turn into roadways and are never perceived as subdivision roads, and kind of backdoor it into a big mess. More lots in a road that the town would be responsible for.
sounds good?
Thank you, Susan.
Sure.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that the board approve the proposed amendments to the Declaration of Covenants and Restrictions for Majestic Oaks Common Driveway South.
Second.
Anyone have any, either audience or board actually, have any comments, questions? So roll call vote. Eric,
Aye.
Garfield,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
and I. It's unanimous. Thank you, Susan.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Next is ARPA funding, and Mark or Chris will handle this one. And the board, my hope tonight is this isn't a discussion, but we will set a date for a community meeting to get a community input on this when we're all done with the presentation.
So I'll go ahead and get us started. Chris and Sue have been promoted as panelists, and they'll walk us through this. But for anyone that's not familiar with the ARPA program, the American Rescue Plan Act, this is federal funding in response to the COVID-19 pandemic to help cities and towns in their recovery. So Great Barrington's share, and you'll hear more in just a minute, is roughly $2 million, or just north of $2 million. So staff's going to walk you through some slides right now that I'll share in just a second. It's just a general overview of the program. And again, just to repeat what Steve said, we're not asking you to make any decisions tonight. We're merely starting this conversation. Just bear with me here while I find the slides.
While you're doing that, there are 8 panelists right now and 18 attendees.
Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Sue, would you like to get us started?
Sure, thank you, Mark. Good evening, everyone. As Mark stated, we're going to give you a brief overview of the American Rescue Plan Act, otherwise known as ARPA. So just the first two slides are a quick overview of the program. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 was signed into law on March 11th of this year. This law provides $1.9 trillion in federal funds for continued COVID-19 response and recovery, including $350 billion for the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. Approximately $113 billion of these federal funds is to go to the state of Massachusetts in response to the pandemic. Funding has been given to three groups: businesses and individuals, public entities, and Commonwealth agencies. Under the Commonwealth agencies, there are four types of recipients: metropolitan cities and counties with populations over 250,000, metropolitan cities and counties with populations under 250,000 and receiving funding of more than $5 million, metropolitan cities and counties with populations under 250,000 and receiving funding of less than $5 million, and what is called non-entitlement units of government. This is where we, as the town of Great Barrington, fall because we are not a metropolitan city and county. The distribution of the funds. The total funds to be allocated to Great Barrington come in two different areas. It's a total of $2,075,908. The local allocation is $726,923, and what is referred to as county reallocation is $1,348,985. Basically, the county reallocation is money that was directly allocated to one of the 9 counties in Massachusetts, which is Berkshire County, and then through there it gets allocated to the individual towns that are part of that county based on per capita. The local allocation will be distributed in 2 payments, 50% upfront, which was in fiscal 22. We have received half of this money, $363,462 on July 20th. And the other 50% is expected to come within 12 months after receipt of the first payment. The county reallocation, we have as well received half of that, $674,492.41, and we received that on August 17th. It is my understanding that that will be allocated very similarly to the local allocation, that within 12 months, we will receive the additional 50%. There are 5 core areas of eligible uses. Please understand, as Mark said, we are still learning and they are still changing things on a regular basis. So right now there are currently 5 core areas: public health funding, economic impacts of the public health emergency, lost public sector revenue, premium pay for essential workers, water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. I'm now going to turn over the presentation to the Assistant Town Manager, Chris Remble, to pick up and get into the specifics of those 5 core areas.
Thanks, Sue. So the first area here under the ARPA is public health funding, and some examples here could be services that contain and mitigate the spread of COVID-19. That might include vaccination efforts, medical expenses, testing, contact tracing, quarantine costs, personal protective equipment, etc. It could include behavioral healthcare services, mental health, substance misuse treatments, crisis intervention, services related to that. It could include payroll and covered benefits for public health, healthcare, human services, and public safety staff, to the extent that they worked on COVID-19 response. The funds can also be used to address the economic impacts of the COVID emergency on various sectors and various places. It's really about providing assistance to households, to workers, families, specific sectors of the economy, certain industries that were impacted by the public health emergency. So households, workers, small businesses. The affected industries are tourism, travel, and hospitality sectors. And of course, the public sector, like in the form of rehiring staff. In the case of household assistance, that can take the form of food, rent, mortgage assistance. It can also take the form of developing new affordable housing or supporting affordable housing in order to increase the supply of housing units, high quality housing units in the town. And the assistance can be directly to households and businesses and families. It can be through service providers. So it's very flexible, but at the end of the day, in this particular category, the town has to be very particular in using the funds to ensure that it's justified, that the use of the funds responds to the economic impact of the public health emergency. And in certain cases, also, there's a special emphasis on serving disadvantaged communities in our town. So, next. The lost public sector revenue area, this can be used to fund government services to the extent we experienced revenue reductions from the pandemic. There's still some questions on this, but DOR has issued some preliminary guidance. As Sue mentioned earlier, the targets are changing a little bit. The good thing is we have the funds. The difficult thing is some of the targets are changing. But we continue to adapt, and we have a lot of support from MMA and other sectors to help us with this. Also, the calculation in this particular area of lost public sector revenue, the calculation is really complex. It does require taking 4 different points in time, identifying the actuals and estimating revenues. We can do that throughout the reporting period, I believe, but it's a complex process. So we'll have to revisit this in some detail if that's where we decide to go. There's not much to say here. I think this kind of speaks for itself. We can provide premium pay for essential workers. This can be directly or through grants to third-party employers. The priority is on low and moderate income workers who face the kind of greatest mismatch between their employment-related risks and their compensation for that employment. Key sectors here are healthcare, grocery and food services, education, childcare, sanitation, things like that. And finally, the last area is infrastructure, and there are kind of 3 categories here. Water, which includes drinking water and stormwater mitigation, sewer, and broadband. So this can be really in the water and sewer area, anything that we might typically use the state revolving loan fund for, we can use the ARPA funds for. So we can build or upgrade facilities, transmission lines, distribution systems, storage systems. This is, again, for drinking water, for stormwater management, for wastewater collection and treatment, and for conservation and pollution prevention. So this area is very, very broad. Finally, in broadband, the eligible uses here are those that deliver high-speed, future-ready service to, quote, unserved or underserved populations. And that's defined very specifically as areas without access to a minimum of 25 megabits per second download speed, 3 megabits upload speed. In Great Barrington, we're what they call an incumbent community, where we have an incumbent provider in the form of cable, which provides these speeds. So We may not be eligible to tap the broadband funds here. We'll dig into that if that's an area where we decide we want to go, or we want to research a little bit further. But this, because we have cable already, this may put us out of eligibility. But the water and sewer area is very broad. Go ahead, Lauren. In terms of the reporting requirements, it's pretty extensive. Sue and I have sat through a webinar. She's sat through more than me. But again, as I said, there's a lot of help out there for us. There is annual reporting here. The first report, and this is different than what was in your packet. The rules are already changing. The first report's not due in October. It's due in April 30th. That covers the entire period from the award date to March 31st of next year. And then annually, every year thereafter. We go through March of 2027. That reflects when we have to obligate and spend the funds. And the reports are very, very detailed on a per project basis, tracking the expenditures, the program statistics, who is served, et cetera. And particularly in the economic assistance category, ensuring that we're responding to the economic impacts of the pandemic and to the extent we can assist those who have been disproportionately impacted. It includes various performance metrics and civil rights compliance details. It's pretty complex, so we're looking forward to it. Go ahead, Mark. So the next step really is for us, and as Steve said, to discuss how we might receive community impact to guide how these funds are used. The town manager can create a staff task force or committee to establish the policies, the procedures, and the application process that would work. The funds have to be obligated by the end of 2024. So we have a good bit of time to do this, which is good. And the projects have to be completed by the end of 2026. And I think that's the last slide. Yep.
So I think our responsibility tonight is to try to set a date for a community meeting. And Mark and I talked prior to the meeting, and I'll throw out one date because we want to do it prior to the holidays. And November 1st, we typically do our meetings on Mondays. So November 1st is a Monday that we don't have a select board meeting. And that will give the town plenty of time to advertise and set up the meeting. So if select board members could look at their calendars.
Works for me.
Lee?
I just had a question. Is this a good time to ask related to what you're
Well,
speaking?
so if it's related to the calendar, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll wait till we get the date.
Okay.
Can you say that date again, please?
November 1st.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I can make that date work.
Garfield? You're muted, Garfield. I'm sorry.
It should be fine for me. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a date, and we'll leave it up to Sue, Chris, and Mark to decide what we do with that date. We have a date, 6 o'clock on Monday, November 1st. Lee, you had a question?
Yeah. In addition to in-person community update, do we want to discuss possibly doing a survey of any kind for people that can't make that? Because I'm just worrying about accessibility for everyone.
There will be a survey designed.
There'll be a survey in addition to the in-person meeting.
That's how I understand it, correct?
We did discuss that this morning, yes.
Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, of course.
Ultimately, is this a town meeting decision, a select board decision, a Mark decision?
Sue, correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that this funding came in the form of a grant and does not need a town meeting appropriation.
As long as our charter or bylaws don't override Mass General Law, then no, it does not need town meeting approval.
So that leaves it to the select board.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. We will be hearing about this a lot more. Citizen speak time. Not seeing anyone. Moving into select board time. Eric,
I'm all set, Steve. Thank you.
thank you. Garfield,
I'm all set, thank you.
thank you. Ed, thank you. Ed, Lee,
Nothing.
and I have nothing. Media time. Again, I'm not seeing anything, so by unanimous consent, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good evening.
Yeah.